Hi. Every living organism falls into one of two groups, prokaryotes or eukaryotes. In this video, I will explain how prokaryotes and eukaryotes differ, and I will outline the main differences between them. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Prokaryotes are unicellular organisms that lack the membrane-bound organelles. The most noteworthy one is the nucleus. Prokaryotes are usually small in size, simple, whose diameter ranges between 0.1 to 5 micrometer.
Let's look carefully to this bacterium. Number 1. Capsule. Some bacteria have a layer of carbohydrates that surround the cell wall called capsule. The capsule helps bacterium attach to different surfaces. Cell wall. It provides structure and protection from outside environment. This cell wall is made up of carbohydrates and proteins, called together peptidoglycans. Cell membrane. Every prokaryotic cell has a cell membrane, also known as a plasma membrane, that separates the cell from outside environment. Flagella. Flagella are thin tail-like structures that assist in movement. Plasmid. Plasmid is a circular piece of DNA. DNA is a genetic material. Nucleoid. It's a central region for the cell that contains its DNA. Fimbria and Fimberiae. Fimberiae are thin hair-like structures that help cellular attachment. Pilus and Pilli. They are rod-shaped structures involved in multiple roles, including attachment and DNA transfer.
What is the importance of prokaryotes? Prokaryotes are very important in many aspects. Number 1. Prokaryotes can perform BNF or biological nitrogen fixation or nitrogen fixing bacteria. They can increase the soil content with nitrogenous compounds needed for building amino acids and also for building nucleotides, where some bacteria form a symbiotic relationship with the legumes' roots. What are the legumes? Legumes are a large family of plants that includes some herbs, shrubs and trees like beans, peas, soybeans, chickpeas, lentils, or clover, which is called alfalfa. They can provide an oxygen-free habitat for the reproduction and survival of these bacteria. You may or may not know that the nitrogenase, the enzyme that helps in this process, cannot live in oxygen. It is inactivated in the presence of oxygen. Some other species of bacteria are free-living and also can fix nitrogen into nitrogenous compounds, like cyanobacteria. The total bacteria that live in the soil is collectively called rhizobium or rhizobia. Bacteria benefit from the carbohydrates prepared by the plant during photosynthesis process. Additionally, the soil itself is getting the benefit from being naturally fertilized. The second importance of prokaryotes is most of the milk products and milk industry depends on the anaerobic cellular respiration of these bacteria, like cheese, yogurt, and other milk products. The third point, genetic engineering depends on bacteria, vaccine preparation, some medicines, and some antibiotics. All of them depend on the presence of bacteria. Fourth point of importance. Bacteria play an important role in cleaning up oil spills. How? Bacteria can break up the hydrocarbon chains into carbon dioxide. So, bacteria can play a unique role in bioremediation process What does it mean? It means that we can depend on some living organism to get rid of the toxic material that may pollute water or soil. The last point of importance that a big family of bacteria is called decomposers or saprophytic bacteria. They can break down the dead bodies and release the trapped element in their bodies back into the nature. Some of them go into the atmosphere, some of them back into the soil. So it helps in continuity of the some cycles in nature. So they are called nature guards. The negative sides of bacteria. Number 1. Pathogenic bacteria that form less than 1% of the total prokaryotes on Earth are responsible for many diseases that can affect human life, like gonorrhea, syphilis, pneumonia, tuberculosis, and meningitis. Number 2. Bacteria are responsible for food poisoning and blood poisoning, which is called bacteremia. Now let's move to eukaryotes. Eukaryotes include protista, fungi, plants, and animal cells. All of them have larger size more than prokaryotes because their cell size range from 10 to 100 micrometer. Number 2, they have nucleus. Number 3, they have membrane-bound organelles. In this table, I'll let you compare between prokaryotes and eukaryotic cells.
Look at the timeline that illustrates the origin of Earth and the appearance of different prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. First of all, 4.6 billion years ago, Earth planet has been created. After that, about 3.5 billion years ago, the first prokaryotic cells appeared on Earth, and then about 2 billion years ago, eukaryotic cells appeared. This theory, which is called endosymbiotic relationship or endosymbiotic hypothesis, assumed that the blue-green algae entered into a symbiotic arrangement with early eukaryotic cells to develop into them into chloroplasts. By the same way, another prokaryote ancestors or ancestral prokaryotic cells entered into a similar arrangement with the precursors of eukaryotic cells to become mitochondria. One evidence that supported that both chloroplasts and mitochondria have their own circular DNA and genome, like modern prokaryotes, and they also have their own translation system and their own lipid bilayer membrane.
Don't forget to make a little summary for the main concept that we studied today, like the BNF, green fertilizers, rhizobia, and bioremediation.